Hi, today I'm going to show you how we can use the InkStitch inside the Inkscape to do a basic digitizing for embroidery. So, as you know, the Inkscape is the vector drawing software and it has an extension called InkStitch that we can use it for embroidery. For today's video, I'm going to use this flower from the open clip art and show you how we can digitize that. So just very quickly, if we want to use the InkStitch, first we have to install the Inkscape and then come here and install InkStitch. Uh, when you open your Inkscape, you're gonna see something like that. And before I start to go over there, I'm just going over the GUI very quickly, the interface. On the left side are the drawing tools that we're going to use. Usually we use these select tools, we use the edit path, and this bezier that we use it for drawing. Usually we only use these three from all of them. On top, these toolbars are going to be changing depending on what we are doing here, and these are the regular toolbars for saving, undoing, and those kind of zooming and those kind of things. Here's going to be our color palette here, and the menu there. Before I start, again, one thing that I want to make sure that you do for the color palette, if you go to extension, if you install the InkStitch, you will see it here. It's going to be the InkStitch there. And then you can go to the thread color management and install the thread color palette for Inkscape. And after you do that, you can come here, click here, and you see all the different thread colors gonna be available for you. I just chose the broad embroidery. You can choose any of them, and then you can use the that specific thread color when you are doing your design. And there. So for this purpose, as I said, the very first thing we are gonna set up our hood, the hoop size. So go to document properties, click on that, the file document properties, and change it to the size you want. So here I'm gonna make it to 100 by 100 millimeter. It's gonna be equivalent to the 4 inch by 4 inch, or you can just change it to inch and then enter 4 inch by 4 inch. So this is going to be our hoop size, and then we can just zoom. If you press 5 on your keyboard, so it's going to zoom there, or you can do the zoom things here. So it's just 1, or just 5, zoom to the page. All the zooms there. Also, they are here as well. So after we set up our hoop size, we can go ahead and import the image. So I'm going to import the image. It's the image I want to use. I will import it and then click OK. So the image imported, as you see, it's going to be a little bit larger. So I'm just zoom out a little bit. And then I'm going to change the size so it fits to our hoop. So click here to lock it so that the ratios stay the same. Just bring it here, probably larger. So you can have it there. We can put it on the center. To do that, we can go to the object, open this align and distribution, and then select that object, and then make sure it's on the page, and then align it vertically and horizontally to the center. So you can do that. Before I go ahead, the other two things that we are going to use a lot. So click on the object. First of all, click on the layer and object, so it's open here. Also click on the fill and the stroke, so it's going to also open there. So we are using this for the color, and so using for manage our work. So again, I press 5, so zoom all the way in. And then also in another video I show you how you can change the zoom depending on how you set it up, either by scrolling you zoom in or zoom out, or you have to hold down the control key and scroll. It's going to zoom in or zoom out depending on how you set it up in the preferences. Now I have another video explaining how to do that. So I'm not we can do the auto digitizing in Inkscape. I'm gonna very quickly show you how to do that, but this is not how I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna show you how to do it manually. But if you want to do it automatically, just select the image, go to the path, select on trace bitmap. So this trace bitmap open here. It's usually on the single color. When you open it, go on the multicolor here, click on the multicolor, then go and select the colors, and you see how many colors you want. As you want the 8 colors, or you can change the number of colors that you want, and you see it's update here. So assume I'm gonna put it on 5 colors, let's say, and then apply it. Come on the layer, I click, I hide my image, and then that's it. That's all I wanted to. So this is, if I the very last one is usually the background, so you can just delete that. And then here, so this is this part, this part, this part, and this part, and most likely that's all you need, and you're done digitizing, and you can go ahead in the InkStitch and start using these prompts to assign the stitch parameters to each part of that, and you're done. So relatively very simple and quick if you want to use that trace bitmap. But again, I'm gonna delete that and unhide this. So today that's not what I want to do. I'm just gonna show you how we can do it manually. So I'm gonna lock the image here, so make sure I'm not gonna move it by accident or by chance. So it's gonna be sits there. Before we're showing how to do that, I'm going to show you how we can actually draw and some of the stitch in InkStitch and Inkscape. So for drawing, we use this Bezier tool. So I will click on that, and you can just up here choose how do you want it. Do you want it to be some straight line or some curved line, or so. So if it's on the straight line, you go click, 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 and it gives you some line there. If you want it to be curved, you can click here and then go ahead, and so it will do it in the curve format. So either way that you want to do that. After you draw it, you can click edit the path and just go ahead and start to edit the path. If you want to add the nodes, just double click it, add the nodes. If you want to delete it, just select the node and press delete. So we'll do that. So this is usually we use them for the run stitch, and the run stitch is basically start from one end and end another end. To be in the simple run stitch, you have to choose it as a dash line. So go to the here fill and stroke, stroke type, and make it dash. By default, I think it is 265 millimeter, and this is like that. So this is the default you get usually when you draw it. So just click on that and change it to dash line, so it's going to be run stitch. So Inkscape knows run stitch. If you leave it on like that, it's going to be considered as a satin border. I will show you later. So this is one thing. Then the next thing is that if we have the close area, so that if you want to make it again, we go ahead, start from first point, second point, third point, then fourth point, and then we go to the very start point and click there, and then it creates for us a close area. Or I can click here and then 1, 2, 3, and then go to the first point and close the area. To make sure that the Inkscape know that we are talking about the fill stitch in the close area, you have to set the fill color and not the stroke colors of the border. So we have to get rid of the border color and fill it. To get rid of border color, just hold on the shift and press this very little one. So if you press the shift, whatever color you choose is assigned to the border. So I assume, for example, this one or this one. So I don't want to have any border color, so I hold on the shift and click that one, and then without the shift just press any of those color, so that's going to be your fill color. Same here. I don't, for example, I want it to be red and no border color, so hold on shift and press that, so no border. So this is how the Inkscape knows that this is the fill stitch. So the filled color without any border is the filled stitch. Again, the running stitch, one more time, the running stitch is just a simple like that. So you see the InkStitch always remember what you did last time. So again, now this time I want to get rid of the fill color, so I come here, click on this one, and then so there's no, and then hold on the shift and press any of the color, so you have the border color. So border color with the dash line is the running stitch. With the solid line is going to be satin border line. The fill and the fill is going to be the simple fill column. And if we work with them. So and then when we draw anything and want to assign it, so for example here I'm going to make it dash line and select it. You can go to the extension, to InkStitch, to prompts, and then you can assign the parameters for that specific stitch that you want. So it's going to show you here how it's going to be, and you can assign the stitch there, and then you can apply and quit for that purpose. Or this one, again, go to the InkStitch, prompts, probably take a little bit more time to comes up, but it's going to show you. So it's going to be the fill stitch, and then you can work with that and assign any of those parameters. The next type of stitch that we are going to use is going to be the satin, and for the satin we have two ways of doing that. One way is just draw a line. So assume I want the satin to go like that, or let's make it curve. I want a line, assume a satin to go around that, and then I will go ahead here, make it fill, choose the satin width that you want. For example, assume I want it to be 3 millimeter. Then select that, go to the extension, InkStitch, and then to satin, and convert line to satin. Make sure that when you are working with that, it's going to be a line. You should not have any fill color here. You only should have the border or stroke color. So again, InkStitch, satin, convert line to satin. It's going to take a little bit while and change it to satin for us. So if I click that, go to the extension, prompts, so you can see it, make it a satin. And then if I want to edit the point or set, I can just click on that and move ahead and edit any of the point the way I want. The other way that you can do it is the manually. Is a little bit steps into that, so you have to draw these two edges and then draw the stitch direction to that. So I'm going to do that very quickly. So for example, I'm going to draw the first edge, and remember it should have the same number of points on each edge. So if I have here, let me make it, if I have here, click on that, I have 3 points, I have to have 3 points on, so on this another edge. So I will go click on that, I draw the, I can do it like that, or I can change it any way I want. So for example, I want to be a little bit narrower here, I can do it like that. It gives me, and then I have to draw the stitch direction. So stitch direction, I want to be like this here, like this here, and anytime I press enter, and I think I want it to be like this here, and press enter. Then I have to select all of them and go to the path and combine. And now if I go to the InkStitch prompts, it should recognize it as a satin stitch as well. So click here and click on custom satin. So you see, it recognizes it as a satin stitch. So these are the stitch type that we have. We can work with that. So these are most of the time. So I'm going to delete them, and okay, now let's go to press 5 to zoom in, and then go here to the layer and show you how we can work here. To do that, when we want to digitize it, the very first thing we have to decide is that the order of the object we want to have it. So which part is going to be so first, which one second, third, fourth. So I'm going to do this part first, then the leaves, and then the purple part, and then the yellow part. So these are the order I want to go. So for this part I want to do a satin stitch. So I'm gonna go here, click on the bezier tool. I will start here, draw the line, and remember when we have the edges that shared between two objects, we usually want to have some overlap, because when we do the stitching, the fabric is going to pull apart, and then it's going to leave the gap. To make sure that you're not going to leave a gap, we will just leave some overlap there, and then press enter. So that's one line. Now I'm gonna change the color, probably to change this color. So I hold on the shift key, press it, so that's the color. And then I'm gonna change this, for example, to 2 millimeters. See how many, probably 2.2. So let me check. I hold on the shift and change the color so I can see it better. So probably 2 point. Okay, that should be good. And then select that. Let me change the color first. Hold on the shift, select the color, go to extension, InkStitch, and then to Satin, and color line to Satin. So this is my first object. So I go there, just there, and then I can rename it if I wanted, and then I can go and see how it's gonna be a stitch out. I'm not gonna do that for all, just for. So yeah, so it's gonna be stitch out like that. Okay, seems good. So then I will go to draw these leaves and these leaves. Again, I click on the bezier. I will go ahead. When I want to draw that, make sure that I want to leave some overlap, because it's the edge. So I will leave some overlap. So in case that there's a pulling in the fabric, there are not going to be gap between these two parts. So I will start with here, and it's the on the curve because it's curve format. So I'm gonna on the curve format. I'm not gonna win the details, so I'll just do it faster. But you can do it in more scale format. So and then over here a little bit of the overlap, and then I will finish it. Go to the very first point and press enter. So it's 2. So come back here again, 265, so I can see what's happening. So again, I will go in the edit point and select the point, and I can work with that point and change it. For example, here I want to click on that to make it the way I want. So also down here I click on this one, click on that, so get rid of it's the corner edge, and I want this top one also be corner edge, so I can click on that, so it's going to be corner edge. Okay, now because I want it to be fill, I don't want it to be satin or border, so I have to get rid of the border color and then make a fill color. So I hold on the shift, so I hold on the shift, press here, so there's no border color, and then leave the shift and then click here. So now that's my fill color. So that's this leaf. So I'm gonna draw that the second leaf as well. So I click on again Bezier tool. I will go leave some overlap again here. Make sure it's on the curve, so it's gonna get the curve right. Again, I'm gonna not with too much detail, so you can do it with more detail if you need to. And then some overlap here, and then go to the start point and finish it. And then again edit point, so I select that, click on the edit point, so I can go ahead and change it. So this one again, I want it to be corner point. The same here, I select this one, I want it to be corner point, and here I want it to be a corner point as well. If you see it always remember what you did last time. So here it doesn't have, it has a fill color, it doesn't have the border color. And if you want, you can go ahead and work with that, so make it the way you want. Anyway, so these are, so press 5. So now I have all the green part, probably down here. Okay, so now I have all the green part done. The next thing I will do the purple part. So I will go ahead again, click on the Bezier tool. Because this is a shared edge, I will leave some overlap here. Let's start from here. Again, it's on the curve format, so I can get the curve. We have some overlap here, so you can see that. And you have to make sure that you know which one is going on top of which one, so you can do that. So, and then I go to the very first point. Again, if you want to make some changes, you can come here and make the changes to make sure it's exactly the way you want it to look. And for example, here I can come here again, I can make it corner, or I can select the line and make it line if I want. So it's going to be line. I can do it that way as well. Now I can, one thing I can copy, or I can duplicate that and rotate it 4 times to put it on them, but I can just show you, I'm gonna do it manually, but that's probably faster, just copy and duplicate it 4 times and put it on the other one. So again, I start from here, leave some overlap at the beginning. So for the rest of them, I'm just gonna go very quickly. So I have them again. I can click on that, can click there and make it a line if I want to. So I'm gonna do the next one. So I'm not gonna be too much worried about it. So I will start from here, here. And can I edit that, select that one, make it a line. And then the next one starts with some overlap. Go this one a little bit outside. And then again select this one, make it straight line, and the very last one. So and again select that line, make it a straight line. And now let's change the color. Just select this one, hold on the shift, select all of them, and then assign the color. For example, maybe this one, so the pink. So I don't have pink. So now the last thing I have is this yellow. So for doing that, to do the yellow part, and again I don't want to spend time, you can go ahead and fix this border. But here we have draw a circle here and then convert it to pass. Remember, whatever we are doing, we have to pass. So I can, if I draw a circle, it's going to be an object. So if you go to so if you select that, you have to go select it and then object to pass, convert it to the pass. So I can do the circle like that, or I can just simply use the Bezier tool and draw a circle myself. And then probably I have to go ahead and make it more like circle, and then select it and make it probably green, sorry, yellow. So this is gonna be, so we hit the 5, so I have almost everything. So I'm gonna just hide the image. So this is what we have at this point. So everything drawn perfectly, so you have to go ahead and start to assign the stitch to each part. So I will start with this leaf. So I clicked on that and go to the extension InkStitch palms, and then you can see it's gonna be there, and then you can assign any of those value you want. For example, if you want the angle to be, let's say, 125 degrees rather than the 0, so you can do that and automatically redraw it for you. So you can have it like that, and then you can, this is the one thing here is this spacing. So it's basically the distance between the each row of stitch. If you want it to be less than, so increase this number. If you want it to be more than, decrease this number. So you can, for example, if I go ahead and put it 0.4, so you can see that's going to be less than. So you can work in that, depend on if you want it to see whatever is beneath that, or you don't want anything beneath that stitch to be seen. Also, this expand part is like the compensation. So as you said, when you have the edge next to each other, the two objects have the edge that share. When you are zooming, they might be pull apart. So right now, if I zoom in here, you can see that everything is going on to the edge of the object. But I can, for example, come here and say, okay, I will add 0.4 millimeter to that. So basically, it's gonna go 0.4 millimeter away from the edge of the object, so expand it 4 millimeter. And by doing that, by doing that, if in case it's gonna be, you can see it's right now it's right there. So let me make this angle 0 so you can probably see it better. So you see it goes beyond the edge of the object here, so as a 0.4. So if you can see here, it moves 0.4 away from the edge of the object. So in case that there is a pull in the fabric, there's not going to be a gap. So I'm gonna just leave that also at 125. This I can play with these parameters as you want, and when you're done, you can just come here and apply and quit. So it's going to be applied that. So we'll do the same thing for this one. Prompts, and then we can again, for example, let's say I want the angle to be 45 and I want this to be 0.4. So this will do it for me, and for the expand to 0.4 as well. And you can wait it until it redo the simulation, or you can just simply apply it and quit. So this one is the Satin stitch. Go to prompts. So if you are happy with this number, you can leave it there, or if you want to make it, for example, less dense, and put the pull compensation also to make sure there's no edge there. And then probably you want to add some underlay here. So because it's not too thick, you probably have this contour one, so underlay. So that should be okay. So you have the underlay, and then it does the underlay automatically for the field, but for the satin you have to add it yourself. If it was a little bit wider, you can have the center walk, or you can add the zigzag, but probably it's okay. You can play with them so you can see how it works. So apply and quit. Now, so we have all leaves. So the green one, so we have this, hold on the shift and grab all the purple one again, and then go to the InkStitch prompts and assign the parameters that. So I'm gonna just make that 0.4 and expand it 0.4 as well, or 0.5. So just apply and quit. The yellow one, again, InkStitch prompts, and I will make that 0.4 and that pull also 0.4 and apply and quit. So I have everything here, so assign it. The other two things I want to do is that I want to add the outline here, and for that yellow one, for the green one and yellow one. So again, I go to my Bezier tool, and I will try to draw an outline here, and I will leave it on that, so you get it. It's an easier way of doing that, so you can use because all these shapes already have the outline that you can use their outline, but I'm just gonna show you. I'll do it manually. That's a little bit more advanced, but remember that when you get familiar with that, you can use the outline of each object you already drawn and work with them. So I will draw the outline here. I don't, you have to again go ahead and make sure to do it a bit more detailed, because you don't want to have any gap between your outline and your drawing. But here I just save time, I'll go a little bit quick, so I press enter again. So if you remember last time, I don't want to have any fill color, so I press on this one, none. Then I want it to be black, the border color, so I hold on the shift and on the black, so it's gonna be there. And as I said, by default it's gonna make it, if I do it like that, it's gonna be like the satin border. So let me, if I go there on the prompts, so it's gonna be like satin border. I can work with these numbers, but I don't want it to be satin border. I want it to be just simplistic, so I'm gonna switch that to dash line. And then, by the way, when it's the satin border, this is the width of your satin line. So if you wanted to make it wider, you have to change it here. But when you make it switch to the stitch, that width doesn't have any effect. And also, again, you can go ahead and make some changes there. So make sure that whatever border you have is working correctly. So work with them. And if look at here, if there's any gap, you can also change that to that. If there's any gap anywhere, so you can work to make sure there's no gap between your border. There. Also this one I wanted to be like that. So I will bring this one a little bit out. This one bring it out. This one a little bit out. And then you can adjust it to make sure it's gonna be the way you want it to be. Also now I'm gonna show you how to add a border to this yellow one. What I'm gonna do is that here is that one. I'm gonna just duplicate it, so I can go to the edit and duplicate it. So basically it creates another copy of that right on top of that. So it's there. Now I'm click on that. I remove the fill color. I just say none, and then hold on the shift and press black. So it's there. Now I want it to be a satin. Assume I want it to be satin border. So I go there. I want it to be a little bit wider, so I want it to be 2mm. So it's like that. Now I have to go ahead and assign this. So it's here. Select the outline here. Go to InkStitch prompts. And it shows me that it's going to be the InkStitch. Assume I want it to be repeat or want it to be bin, so I can assume I make it 1, so it's going to be bin stitch. So basically back and forth, back and forth, back. Each stitch is back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So and any of the other one if you want to change it. It's a running stitch. Well, probably you can increase that if you need it to be a little bit larger. Apply and quit. And this one is the last one. Again, it's called the InkStitch prompts. So it's gonna do the satin border, and again you can work with any of those parameters to make it the way that you want it. So it's going to be the right one. So then apply and click. So by this point, we have everything ready. So we can just save it, and to do that you just can go ahead and save a copy as we can save it as an Inkscape, and then you can save a copy, and then in the save a copy you can go ahead and select any of those InkStitch machine type, so it's gonna export it in the machine format that you want. Also you can go ahead and it's gonna to look at it, so go to the InkStitch visual export and simulator. It in my machine it usually take a little bit of time, but you click on that, it will pop up a window and just try to show you how it's gonna stitch in when you put this on in the machine. So by this point, when you get that, you're almost ready just to export it to the machine. There's only one thing left that I want to show you if it starts. So you can see that you can come here and just go. So it shows you how it's gonna work. One thing that you want to do is that if you click on the jump, it will show you where you have the jump. So for example here, when it finishes, there's a jump here. So it finished the satin and then it jumps there. And then it's finished this and it jumps there. So one thing we can do is that we want to get rid of these jumps as much as we can. So one way of doing that is that when I finish here on my satin stitch, I run in a stitch, comes here and go there, and that stitch is gonna be, if I go all the way back, that stitch is gonna be hidden beneath my this outline, and then it start there. Or I can rearrange the start and stop position of that. For example here, look at this first one. When it's finished, it goes to the second one. So instead of it finishes here, I can tell him finish there, and then for this one, instead of starting it here, I can tell him start there. So it goes there, finish there, and starts there. So the jump is going to be from here to here, and then when I have the yellow is going to cover that jump. So I'm going to show you just for this part how I'm going to do that. Or also here, you can see if it goes also. So also there's a jump here. So here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to tell this one to finish here, and then the next one to start here. So there's going to be a jump right underneath of that border line. And also for this one, I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell it to finish there and start there. So the jump's going to be underneath of the yellow. So for this method, I will click on this one and I will say, okay, I want, again, you have to go and work with them, but I'm just show a couple of them so you get the idea. So in InkStitch, go there, and then on the command, you attach a command to selected object. So when it's started, you can go ahead and say, for this one, I want to decide where it starts when it's finished. So I can fill a stitch starting position, fill a stitch ending position, apply. So you see right now it starts here and ends here. So I want it, for example, to start somewhere there, and I wanted to finish there, for example. So for this one, I'm just gonna get rid of the start point, so I only just keep the. So I wanted to end there. And then I will select this one. I wanted to start here, so I'm gonna go there again, extension, InkStitch. You always can use the previous extension also there. Command, attach command. and then this time I just want the start one. Add. So see, it's a start there, so now I want it to be start there. So now this one stop here, end here, and start here, and the jump is gonna be there between these two. So the jump is gonna be beneath this outline, so no one would see them. But if you want, you also can, to prevent anyone even further, what you can do is that I can go ahead here and add the run stitch between them and there. So I can go ahead, click on the draw tool and add the stitch from here to here. Press enter. So I will go ahead and make that 265 that I used to use. So I make, because I wanted to be run stitch, I make it like that, and I change the color to have the same color. I think it was the color. So hold on the shift and press the color. So now it's stitched this left leaf, then it's going to this running stitch, and then this one. So make sure that they are in order. So I wanted to, this is the left leaf, and this is also the left. So I want this pass to go all the way down here. So it's left one, this one, and then that one. It's gonna work that. So if I select them, so from here I select this one, hold on the shift, this one, and this one. Sorry, so there are these three. And I go to the extension to InkStitch simulator. Just simulate these three. So I'm gonna wait till it comes up. Again, it probably is gonna be fast on your machine, so a little bit slow on my machine. So it's gonna do that, and if I click on the jump, you see there's no jump because it's gonna finish right there. See, it's gonna finish right there, then do that stitch, and it's gonna finish that. So also for this one, I just have to go InkStitch prompts and make sure everything is right. Assign the prompter value. If you don't assign it, the InkStitch assign the default value. So I think everything is okay. So just apply and quit. So I got rid of the jump stitch there. Still we have a jump stitch from this top to this one. We can work on that to fix it. Also, I want to show you how I'm going to get rid of the jump stitch between these two. So I'm going to just select this, hide it, select this, hide it. So I have this one. So I'm going to add the end. Let me select these two and show you what happened in InkStitch. So if I click on the jump, so you see there's a jump there. So I can come here, it will finish that, and then jump, and then finish that. So now I want to tell him to start here, sorry, to end here, and to this one to start here. So the jump is going to be here, and it's going to be beneath that yellow part. So what I'm going to do is that I will select this one, extension, InkStitch, and command, attach command, selected object. So I want to attach the ending command to that. And then I will select this one and I want to start both because I need the start and end for the next jump, so I will both start and end that. And I do that one. We can select all of them, but can just show you how it works, and we have to do it for this one and this one as well, to get rid of all the jump there. I'm gonna just show you for these two so you know what happens for the rest of them. So here for the first one is that I wanted to exactly finish there, and then here, so let me get rid of that. So here I wanted to start there, so I won't bring this here, so I'll put it there. So I wanted to start there, and I want this one to finish there, and then for this one again I wanted to start there, so so it's a bit too crowded. I wanted to start there and I wanted to finish there, and the same thing keep going for the next one, next one, next one. So then there's going to be jump from here to here and from here to here, and so I'm going to get rid of that finish for now so you can see it a little bit better. Also I'm going to just bring it outside, so for again, so you get the idea. It finishes here, it starts here, and then so finish here, starts here, finish here, and then if I bring it this here, it's gonna start here, and then basically all the jumps is gonna be underneath of that. So let me just select these three to show you what will happen. So we go to InkStitch, visualize. So, okay. So now if I click on the jump, still I have a jump, but you see the jump is going to be here and it's going to be here. So that yellow part is coming and will be cover that jump there. So there's not going to be any, it's not going to be seen. If you don't want to have a jump or trim, also again I will show you once here, you can do it for the rest of them. So you can come here, click on that and add, similar to previous one, add the stitch. So going from here to here, press enter. Again, it should be dash, and also I want it to be, so hold on the sheet and pink, so it goes from here to there. Now if I again, let me select them, so let me select, let me see which, so this one should comes right after that, so I want it to be right after that, so I move it down. Sorry, so let me hide that again. So this is the one, this is the one. So one more up, so after those commands, so it's this one, its command, and this one. So let me, so select this, 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 and let me show you the, Visualize and simulator. So let's see how it works. So now if I click on the jump, you see there's no jump because it goes there and then it does the stitch and then it goes there. So there's no jump, and then the yellow part will recover this stitch. The yellow part is gonna be over there, so we don't see that stitch. So well, we can do that for the rest of them, so we don't have any jump uh, stitch, so we have everything ready. So by doing that and make sure that we are okay with the jump stitch, so with the jumps or the trim, we are almost ready. So we can, as I said, you can go ahead save it as one of in the format of the machine you have and start working with that. Couple of last points before I finish. One thing I want to talk about it is the density. So throughout this instruction, I use um, 0.4 for the density, and it's actually a very low density. It's actually not a density. It's a bit, it's spacing between the rows. It's a 0.4. So um, it's a very low density, and it if you have it like that, so your fabric would be shown through the thread. If you want to have the fully covered fabric and you don't want your fabric to be shown, you probably need to use, for example, 0.25, which is the default values between two rows, or even you can go down, probably most commonly you can go down to 0.2 millimeter between each two rows, so it's gonna give you the full coverage of whatever you're embroidering, and the fabric is not going to be shown through. For the satin stitch, uh, is for the satin stitch, if you go there and you look at it in the prompts, is asks you for the peak to peak distance, and for the peak to peak distance, I think by default is 0.4, and 0.4 should also gives you the full coverage, um, and you should not see the fabric through that. If you want to make it, for example, less dense or more dense, you can go ahead and this peak to peak distance, you can change that number. You can increase it to be less dense, or you can decrease it to be more dense to work with that. Another thing that I wanted to talk about it is the tie at the beginning and end of the each color. So basically tie in and tie off. And what does it mean is that basically it says that anytime that you have the start, at the start of the color, you need to have a tie. At the end of the color, you need to have a tie. Or other words, let's put it this way. You don't want to have a loose thread. Anytime that you have a loose end of the thread, you want to have a tie. So at the beginning of the color, you have a loose end, so you want to have a tie. At the end of the color, if everything is connected, you want to have a tie. Anytime that you have a trim, you want to have a tie. Anytime that you have a single object, you want to have a tie. For example, here for the green color, we start with this stem, then we go to this part, and then we go to this part. So at the start of this one, we need to have a tie, and then at the end, when we finish it, we need to have a tie. So by default, the InkStitch put the lock stitch or the tie at the both end, but at the both end of every object. But if you know what you are doing, you can just go ahead and put it neither or after or before. So for example, again here, if I want to look at it here for this one, let me show you on the purple one. So this purple one is the first object we have, is the first in the color. So we want to have a tie at the beginning or before, and then we go right to this one, so we don't need a tie before or after. Then we go to this one, then right to this one, then right to this one. So everything it just go one after another. And this one is finish the color, so we have the loose end at the end, so we want to have a tie at the end. So we want one tie at the beginning here, then we go all the way through one tie at the end here. This green one is the separate object, so we won't have a tie at both ends. This uh, black outline here, or this black outline here, although both of them are black, but because they are separate, we need to have a tie at both ends of each of them. So make sure to have tie. If you don't know that you need a tie or not, you just it's better to have a tie rather than have a loose end, just have a tie. If you know exactly where you need a tie, so you can just make the sewing more smoother, but just putting the tie exactly at the point you need. I think that's all I wanted to say. So this is the basics of how we can do the manual digitizing using the InkStitch. It has many more options that you can work with that, but I think this video can show you how to start digitize any embroidery design manual.